Starliner. Making contact at point 003.
Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm James.
I'm Ralph.
And I don't know what just happened.
Right. I
What was
forgot I
that?
did that. I
Is that-
completely forgot I did it. I did it last week.
I didn't even
So
notice.
so with StreamYard, we this is nobody cares about this. We have this background and we have this overlay and the logo in the corner and stuff. And so what happens is after the pre-recorded video that plays at the opening, it sort of just fades into everything. And I'm like, what if I made it so it didn't? So there's a split second of the border forming and the logo popping into frame. Completely forgot I did that last week. And it caught me off guard as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think both of us were like, ugh. But yeah.
I'm Ralph.
I'm still James.
Shall I say that?
Yeah. This week we are talking about Ahsoka Part 6, Far, Far Away.
Oh, far, far away.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to talk about it, but I don't
Yeah.
think we should do it alone. What do you think?
No, 100%. We should not do it alone. Joining us from the Geek the Fuck Out channel. I'm just going to say it. I don't care what the logo says. It's Kayla and Johnny.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Have you ever said fuck as far as the name of your channel before? Like, have you said it out loud on any episode?
I think so.
I think we have. Yeah.
That is the name. Just
It technically is the name, but you gotta be like
Yeah.
SEO doesn't really like it too much.
I think saying the F word in the first like 1 minute of your podcast or your YouTube stream is bad, but
That's the real reason that Ralph
Yeah,
changed the
supposedly.
thing, wasn't it? Is so that we would have that little thing where it would throw us, so it would go over a minute.
it added no time. But
Oh.
like I was like, I wish there was a way where the just like we didn't fade in with the logo and the over the border.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm like, God, I think I could do that in the video and create that transition. And I did it last week, completely forgot. It's like literally like a split second, and it
Is
totally
this-
threw us both off.
Is this going to be like when you touched up the logo in the
was
corner
pretty
and like,
entertaining.
no one noticed, and you were just like, no one noticed?
Okay.
I was like, dude, it's so
Little-
small. Like, it looks great, but
Little, yeah, because I moved the border out
Sometimes
just a little bit so we can get. Oh my God.
sometimes those
Yeah.
little changes can make a big difference. Mhm.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like
So
different
speaking
motion.
of which, so this Ahsoka thing that happened yesterday. James didn't watch it until later because he was working. So usually as soon as I'm done watching it at 7 or whatever Pacific time, I just update the artwork and I send it off to him.
Mhm.
This time I had to do
no. Yeah.
It's fine.
I did like the
Yeah.
little
The
invisible ink thing.
invisibility.
But what's funny is I sent him the wrong one because, of course, I can't leave good enough alone, and I had to tweak it. I forgot to put the overlay, the gradient overlay on the title "Far, Far Away," and so the one I
Oh.
sent you didn't have the.
So the
overlay.
one that I've uploaded to like
Oh.
Instagram and things
But-
like that, it's like,
yeah.
they're wrong. Yeah.
But it is one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to keep sending him these freaking invisible ink pictures of an image that's not really even a
He's gonna be
spoiler.
like, what's behind this invisible
It's
ink?
fine.
Am I gonna
It was
have
so disappointing, I'm
to-"
sure.
The mornings that I have to watch the show,
Not
if
what
I've not
happened.
watched it the night before, like I don't even bother looking at my phone. Like I just get up and I
Yeah.
will just watch the show first, and then I'll do everything else. So feel free, just send me anything.
Yeah.
Not anything,
Yeah.
you know.
I've been
Yeah, I
gun
was gonna
shy
say,
ever since
do
I
you
put.
really want anything?
Not anything.
I've been gun
Yeah, if
shy
you
ever
get
since I posted
invisible-
the Rancor with Danny Trejo at like 7 a.m. I got shit for that. So I was like, okay, I'm real.
Tom Holland, friend of the show, Tom Holland, not that one.
I was gonna say.
No, it's
Might be.
it's
He's like,
not.
I met him.
I've met the other one. he messaged me last week. He's like, "Yeah, cool. Cheers for the thumbnail that you put up on the video last week. I was at work and I didn't see the episode until I finished. So I was like, well, you got lunch breaks. You can just watch it. Like he's a school teacher. He can just watch it during class. Just call in sick. That's fine.
So Thrawn and Ezra will be next week, and then the week after that, whatever happens in the finale.
Yeah,
guys, how have you been enjoying Ahsoka?
It's great.
Been loving it.
Good.
It's been a blast. So for context, Johnny has not seen Clone Wars or Rebels.
I was gonna say, even as someone, I purposely did not watch Rebels leading up to this show because I wanted to be able to provide that perspective of someone who hasn't seen Rebels, because I see a lot of discourse about this, like they did it about Mandalorian too, when they're like, this is going to be confusing with Bo-Katan and the dark side. I'm like, it's not that. Like, I've watched plenty of synopsis videos and read, like, I get it. I know. I don't
even think you'd need to do that. Like, they make these shows. They don't expect everyone to have to watch every single thing. Like,
so Johnny, did you bust out in tears as soon as Ezra showed up?
No, that I did not do because I don't have that emotional attachment to the character. But
I lost it.
It was a hug.
So not only did I lose it, I watched because I didn't get a chance to rewatch it this morning. So I threw on like a sort of a truncated reaction, like a reaction thing. And as soon as that scene happened, the person who was doing the reacting started breaking down in tears. I started crying all over again. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Star Wars doesn't make me cry.
We said the same thing last week though with the I'll Find Them and the May the Force be with you. It's like just when it's performed well, it'll hit me. Like, and I think those two moments especially really got me.
Yeah, it didn't hit me that much just because I just watched Clone Wars and Rebels recently, so it's not like something I've sat with for years. Yeah. Like it like felt very emotional, and I cry very easily, so it doesn't take much. But I also, I don't know, there was like he was perfect. Like I loved his voice. I think they cast him very well. But there was something about their chemistry that just wasn't there. And I wonder if that's just like the awkwardness that like they haven't seen each other in so long. So I was kind of just like expecting more chemistry. So I think that's why it wasn't like, it didn't hit me as much personally.
I think it's intentional.
Stevie's calling you out.
I think Stevie called you out. You definitely blubbered.
That was special circumstances, and I'm pretty sure I brought this up before. It was like something like the 5th time I had seen Revenge of the Sith. It was like the 5th time, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, do you want to go see the new Star Wars with me?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." Yeah. So it was a group of us, and I'm sitting next to my mom, and whatever George Lucas thing he was doing in episode 3 sort of hit her brain just right, to where as it was going down, I just hear as soon as like Anakin kneels, I hear my mom go, "Oh shit," and then reach into her bag and like just break out all the Kleenex. And so that
moms always have Kleenex.
But that sort of hit me that way because I didn't cry before then because I'm like, he becomes Darth Vader and this is kind of dorky or whatever. But yeah, that was special circumstances. I will say that the Admiral Raddus saying
that made force, yeah.
And then there's like stuff in last week's episode.
Some stuff in Andor gets me every time as well. But Adam's just dropped an all-time comment here, though. So just dropping by to say that last night was absolutely bonkers. I felt like I was snorting pure, uncut Star Wars in a Texas Roadhouse bathroom with Dave and George. And
I love you.
And that's amazing, Adam. And absolutely, I completely agree. Because I think, Ralph, you said it earlier on. It's like, George would love this. And it was that this show.
This felt like the most George Lucas thing in the Disney era.
Yeah,
this episode.
And I feel like you've said that for the last 3 weeks. Like but
this episode specifically with
little turtle
rock
things.
turtle people with the waistcoats and stuff. like people riding
Teenage
dogs
Mutant
and
Ninja Rebels.
So Sabine and the Howler.
Sabine and that Howler, the rat dog. Like the rat dog
the
felt
rat
like
dog horse thing.
Naga from Legend of Korra as well, like again, like an Avatar show. So some Dave lineage there as well. There's so much, but yeah, Johnny, I'm so glad you said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because this episode reminded me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 so much that I was expecting like Tarzan Boy to start playing over the credits at the end because like you had little turtles, you had the red samurai looking guys, like that shot from behind when they're on the cliff. You had a big rat. And you had some funky travel, and I was just
crabs.
It's right there.
Yeah. So someone was mentioning that, like, because obviously Filoni loves Tolkien, which I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I mean, and someone was calling them hobbits too. I'm like, oh my god, I love this.
You got hobbits. Minas Tirith is in this episode. Like it's
I mean,
the whole thing.
Is it Minas? I don't know if it's Minas Tirith. It could be. Now I'm blanking on the name.
Isengard.
Well, I don't know.
Minas Morgul.
The other one, the one in the cliffs. Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
I don't know if I know what you guys are talking about because according to James, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh my god!
I mean, one comment.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, Ralph had to explain that to me. He's like, I've watched it every New Year's for so many years, and blah blah blah.
I loved your response.
Ralph.
Your response to it, Ralph, was so good.
But that's the thing is, like, you said it during the episode last week, but I was just like, I just let it go because I didn't really think about it, and then I didn't really think about it after until like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like ready to go to bed, and Stevie's like,
she's clearly let it go, everybody.
Lord of the Rings fan.
Not better.
And it made me laugh. I'm like, holy shit, that's right. He did say that. And I'm like, I'm not like super steep in the lore. I know a thing or two about it. And yeah, I would say ever since they've been released on home video, probably over the course of the last 20 years, I've watched it every single extended cut on New Year's Day. Probably 6 or 7 of those years. We watch it. You get up at 6, you throw on the extended cut.
You should know what Minas Tirith is by then. Like, come on. Man.
Oh yeah, I know Minas Tirith. Yeah. But I just think it's funny. I just thought it was so funny that.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt my feelings. And it didn't even register until Steven brought it up like 12 hours later.
Oh yeah. Johnny said Isengard, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
But
the tower itself definitely looked like that, but just the mountain with like the ringed bit around it definitely looks very like Gondor-y.
The location / volume that they used for this place, I don't remember the name of the planet, very much reminded me of the Willow series, which you can go and check it out on Disney Plus. I'm sure Willow is still available to watch.
It's
not.
They took it off. Yeah,
it's gone.
So crazy.
Really,
and you can't watch Willow anywhere, which essentially felt like what this episode is.
All right, I'll be back in 1 second.
You're good. Yeah, real weird. It's really weird that it's gone. Peridia, the name of that planet. I as they were arriving there though, I was like, okay, Peridia, but also spoiler alert for Invincible, I guess. But is this also Viltrum? Did you get that, Ralph?
Not really.
With the ring around it.
Oh,
the ring was great. I said before, I'm like, they're going to another galaxy. I hope it's freaking weird. Like it's a different galaxy. It should be something we haven't seen. And I think a planetary ring composed of the bones of dead star whales is weird enough to satisfy me. Cool. That's friggin' awesome.
It's a good opening to here's a new weird place.
Here's a new weird place. And also there's a threat to even our heroes coming now because like Sabine already thinks that it's a one-way trip for her because she's like, well, screw you, I'm not coming back here, or I don't really want to come back to this Star Destroyer to go back. Ezra's so excited to go home, and even with the whales going there, they said like it's the end of their migration path. They come here to die. So do they have enough whale juice to be able to get back the other direction? Like, are they just going to go there to die?
So I did rewatch episode 5.
Ahsoka a massacre.
And Ahsoka's floating around in that water, which is just full of plankton, just littered with plankton. I watched it the second time around, and she sort of becomes sort of one with the Force and gets all these visions and stuff. And it's something that Jason's able to hear. I 100% believe that the plankton are strong with the Force. That they have, they're very Force concentrated creatures, and I think she just landed in a pool of it, and that the whales come there to use the baleen to go through and sort of use these as fuel.
Because they use the gas in Rebels. They've got that gas in Rebels is sort of something else that they eat, they absorb, they suck it all up. But yeah, bring something whale juice. Kayla missed it. I'm sure that we'll talk about whale juice again. We're jumping around all over the place. Shall we say hi to some people? We haven't done that.
Go ahead. Yet. You go for it.
Okay.
I'll talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Scott D is here. Tristan is here and very excited to talk about Thrawn. We'll get to it. PopperLoco.com was here. Is going to catch us later on. Sarah's here. Hold on, maneuvers here at all times of day. It just exists in a vacuum, in a bubble. Brad Brooks is here.
Kayla's here.
Funny that. Was. Rick something also here. Stevie's here. We've already mentioned Adam. Adam's still here. I it seems like everyone enjoyed the episode. I hope.
Don't worry. I heard the whale juice and sucking it all up. I heard all of it. Don't you worry.
Good.
So can I just say something? And this is one of the notes I told James before we went on that I took 3 notes. One of them disappeared, and he was like, "Oh, I bet you one of mine is the same." And I said, "I bet you it's not." So when the Purrgil are traveling through super hyperspace, it streaks of light with these rainbow sort of prism colors.
I like that it's a different look.
Since the days as far back as this, the Silver Age Green Lantern, anytime they do some high-speed traveling from sector to sector, it's always a rainbow, like a rainbow tunnel that they go through. I'll also say, if you watch Green Lantern, the animated series, which was produced by Giancarlo Volpe, who also worked on Avatar and is buddies with Dave Filoni. So if you ever see Dave Filoni dressed as Plo Koon at a Comic-Con, Giancarlo Volpe is the one dressed as Kit Fisto.
Amazing.
So in Green Lantern, the animated series,
no idea any of those names.
Yeah. Well, you know Dave Filoni. And Kit Fisto, right? You know Kit Fisto? The fish guy from the prequels.
He smiles in episode 2.
Oh.
Yeah. Really obscure. So in Green Lantern, the animated series, when they do travel through warp, Johnny, I don't know if you've seen Green Lantern, the animated series. Hugely influenced by Star Trek, the original series. When they travel through warp, it is a rainbow swirl. And so as soon as I saw that, I had to jot down
rainbow.
Bring up Green Lantern, warp drive hyperspace. So I don't think that was one of your notes. I mean, he's always here.
That sort of the cold open of this episode is them in the whales going through. The only bit of Ahsoka that we got, but it was fine. I'm absolutely fine with that because we got so much last week.
Plus, we got a long time ago in a galaxy.
And so
I never thought that would be uttered in a Star Wars before.
Me neither.
Crazy. And in a show too, not a movie. It's amazing.
Yeah. It could recontextualize like every film just by having that like said in.
Is it all in
universe.
Hugh?
They also talked about part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, the history of the galaxy volumes 1, 2, and 3, with part 1 being the best, of course. Like,
which is that the prequels?
What is it, or is that like the 25,000 years ago? Because that's when Hugh Yang was like bought online.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
So is that the best? Because he's always said, "Oh, this is the best one," because it's his origin story. Like, that's sort of how I read it. But also, it's like, if this is how he always starts those stories, then yeah, as Ralph said, is everything in Star Wars that we've ever had that from, is that just one of these stories?
It's taken from the database.
I'm down for that.
I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then is it a case of he's just starting this one like this because they're traveling and he's like, well, it was back there.
Yeah,
it was like it was far away. We're pretty far from it now. Like,
that's true.
It reminded me of No Time to Die. There's a moment in No Time to Die. I don't know if you guys seen it, but yeah, where she says, "Let me tell you the story of James Bond," and James Bond has this weird sort of floating timeline of stories that take place, like the same guy exists in 1962 as he does in 2021, and it's like this weird sort of amalgam of things. And with Huyang, if we're seeing sort of the Huyang database of stories from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that can mean that this floating timeline of legends kind of can still exist.
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
They're just stories. Maybe don't get so hung up on canon and just enjoy them for what they are. And it's like, just like,
Johnny loves that.
Like, if you don't like Andor, you can like Ahsoka. If you don't like Book of Boba Fett, you can like Solo, a Star Wars.
If you don't like Ahsoka, you can enjoy Andor. You can enjoy the Thrawn trilogy. Like, it's all there.
I think it's
just fake made up stories.
I think at this point there's really something for everyone between the movies and especially now all the shows.
Yeah.
And people can kind of pick and choose what they like, because there's so many different genres of the shows now that I think there's definitely good, like, people are gonna have favorites, clearly, just like they have with the movies. But to the people that get hung up on canon, I'm just like, all right, just like enjoy it for what it is.
It's entertainment. Yeah, it's entertainment. Just have fun. Just enjoy it. Yeah.
This is literally entertainment.
Yeah. If it's making you upset, it's not doing its job, and you shouldn't carry on watching.
Yeah, maybe you should go to therapy.
Well, yeah. Or maybe your life is so good that everything else, like, this is the only thing for you to get upset about.
Maybe.
Don't bring other people down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't yuck anyone's yum.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, we have 2 more weeks for this to stick its landing, but right now it's really, really neck and neck with Solo as far as my favorite Disney era thing, and then like Rebels. Like, it's really getting up there. I can't believe what I saw last night. It just felt so bizarre. I feel like Disney, especially when they came back with the Force Awakens, they played it safe, which is fine, because they wanted to make sure people were like, okay, this is Star Wars, we're back. Since then, it's been a lot of Tatooine. It's been a lot of, same place. Oh, cool, look at the AT-ATs here. Oh, look at, this is the,
familiar imagery. You got Mandalorians.
Very, very familiar.
Like,
yeah.
And I like that we're getting something a little bit different. It's not crazy different, but it is different. Instead of sand people, it's these red warriors that look like they're from the cover of Wizards, that movie Wizards, the Ralph Bakshi movie.
Also looked a lot like the Crimson Corsair in The Force Awakens. That, like, the guy who's at Maz's castle that Finn almost runs off with. I think he's got some backstory and some books and stuff, but, like, who's to say? Like, it could be related.
I think it was Scott D who last week mentioned, is this other galaxy where Yoda's race is from? And this is
I've heard a few people bring this up as well.
And I feel like this episode, with talking about the Night Sisters and them getting
another power
in with the Purgle and then making their way to our galaxy, I feel like, I don't think we need to see a bunch of Yoda hanging out.
No.
But I do like the theory that Yoda was so in tune with the Force, was able to communicate with the Purgle, made his way to, I kept thinking, our galaxy. And then became like the head of the Jedi Knights because he's so like in tune with the Force.
But it doesn't need to be this other galaxy. It could be other galaxy.
Yeah.
Like it's that could be where Yoda's species are from. Like I love that. Like, and it's bringing all these different interpretations of the Force. So like the Night Sisters interpretation has traveled this way. The Purrgil are definitely tapped into it, and they've got the whole travel thing down. So why aren't they could be going to another one, and they've got the Yoda species who
the Purrgil don't have to go to this one. But this is the one where they go to die. And so the Purrgil that was carrying Thrawn and Ezra decided, these guys, Ezra was like ready to die to take care of this threat. So I'll take him to the place where things die. And that's why they ended up at this place.
It's the sacrifice. It's the sacrifice that Ezra was willing to make. Yeah, that's awesome. But if that's where they go to die, where are they born? If they're is that like where the Yoda species is from?
I don't know.
Oh, like if they've been in multiple galaxies, not just
if it's sort of just part of their migration pattern. Like if they start somewhere else, they come through the quote unquote our galaxy, they spend some time there, their life there, and then then they go off. Maybe they're just from Newark.
This has to be like a place that they pass through too, right? Though, because Morgan says that her ancestors are the first ones who learned to travel with the Purrgil. So maybe they don't die immediately. You can convince them to take one last ride, and then they just drop you off and come back and then die. But there has to be ones that stick around this area for a bit for some reason before going elsewhere.
Point. So maybe the big one that they've traveled in this time is going to go there and sacrifice itself or something, because it's clearly the biggest, the oldest of them all. Like, so maybe that one makes a big sacrifice, but the others are like, come on, hop on, and then they all just ride them like Dune or something.
I don't know why my camera keeps doing that. Yeah, maybe family groups go. They go on a trip. Like, this is summer vacation, and the oldest one just stays and passes away, and the rest go back.
Migrate for the winter.
It's retirement. They're going to the whale heaven, Florida. The whale Florida.
They don't want their elders to die alone, so they make the trip with them, and then they go back.
So I have more to say about that, but it's going to be at the end because it's a prediction for the remainder of the series. That's my other note. But I have an idea of there's going to be only one way back. There's only going to be one way back.
There's one way out.
One way out. No, I'm gonna cry. Damn it, James.
That was all that's all the series was doing. It's just prepping us for the one way out of this. There's always only ever one way out. Baylan seems regretful when he's talking to Sabine. He seems like he's like sorry. Like he's like, I really did mean to honor our agreement, but I'm glad that Thrawn is, but also he's definitely like, I got here. I'm here now. I'm gonna pretend to do what they want, but I'm doing my own thing.
Does Baylan turn to good? Does he turn on Thrawn?
I think Baylan's gonna turn, or Shin.
I think Shin. Yeah, I think definitely. I think she's gonna turn. She's so inquisitive all throughout this episode in particular, but like all throughout, she's always asking questions. She's like,
just her like witches comments
and her looks as well. Like she does it when they arrive, when Thrawn gets there, when she sees the witches. Even when like she is taking or she's looking back at Sabine and stuff like that, she's figuring things out. She's trying to piece it all together. And I think she looks back at Sabine and is like, why did you do this? Why were you willing to, as Thrawn says, gamble the fate of your galaxy on a hope? And it's like, if she's willing to do that, she's like, maybe there is something better, something more. And I could see it being a case of her and Baylan getting to a stage, and then both maybe turning on Thrawn or whoever, and Baylan sacrificing himself to save her, and her then turning to the light. Again, I've been making the comparisons to the Thrawn trilogy a lot, and I'm beginning to sort of start to see her as the Mara Jade sort of character in this story, which would be super cool, with Baylan Not quite, but had been like the Saboth, Jorah Saboth. But I don't really know how that plays out going forward because obviously he's not going to be around to continue playing the role.
Yeah, I'm curious what Balin's after because he talks about a better way, like bringing an end to the cycle of essentially the continuous cycle of war from, you know,
destruction,
Empire
rebirth.
Rising, people rebelling. Yeah, he wants to bring an end to that, and he says there's something on this planet that's calling to him.
The beginning,
and the beginning.
Yeah,
like, what is he talking about? I'm curious to see what that ends
and
up being.
He wants to like find the beginning so that he can end it, which is really interesting. Like,
which it's all based on stories, and I'm like, oh no, if this isn't true, like Shin, if it's not true, Shin is out.
Yeah.
Like,
he's
outie. It'll be interesting. She's
so like buys into everything that he says. Like her faith is 100% in him, and he's a case of he is like a cautionary tale of blind faith. I think like because he saw what that did for the Jedi, that blind faith, and so stepping away from that was what saved him, I guess.
Yeah, he also tells her about he describes Ezra as being and the subtitles called it a Bokken Jedi, Bokken.
Oh, okay.
And she says,
yeah,
she says like me, and he's like, no, I trained you to be something better. He was trained to be a Jedi. Yeah.
But I did like that because that's sort of just like all the other Jedi that have been trained. So your Cal Kestis's from the video games, all these other Jedi that were trained around that time from either people who survived Order 66 or like were apprentices like Kanan at the time. So yeah.
I also thought it was interesting. The Night Sisters say that Sabine reeks of Jedi, but according to Hu Yang, she's like the worst Jedi ever. And she doesn't say anything about Balin and Shin.
I thought the same thing. I was like, are they just picking up from all three of them? Because like, but they see that she's in cuffs, so they're just assuming. Yeah, they were definitely looking at her.
I think by the end of the series, she's gonna have some kind of powers.
She's gonna
show something. She's gonna move something.
Yeah.
It better just be enough to like, it not like a big,
just a little
huge to do. Just
lightsaber.
Enough to like to keep Thrawn from pressing a button or something, or to keep like just something that's really small. Like I don't need it to be some big,
just grab a lightsaber. Ordeal. Just grab a lightsaber or something like that. Grab her blaster, even anything. Yeah,
which that was interesting too when she was fighting the samurai bandits. That she used all of her other weapons first and then used the lightsaber last.
I like that. She's embracing like every aspect of who she is, not just leaning straight into one.
I'm assuming she's going to hand it back over to Ezra right away.
I was expecting it in this one, quite early. I've got something of yours, and then him rejecting it. I think it'd be like what have you done? What have you done to this? Like, this is yours. Like,
but can I say, like, what's crazy about being emotional about his introduction was that, I mean, he was out of focus when he said the line, and also, like, what kind of dude just stands in the farthest corner and waits for his friend to walk through this whole weird town before saying, like, you're not running out there to greet her.
The guy had a crush on her since he was 14, and he's like, right, okay, I've got to look cool.
He's been practicing. Has he been practicing?
Absolutely, he has.
Like, and I will say,
he's gonna try and go on.
Sorry, if Brick is still in the chat though, he loves the throwing the saber away moment, and so I was like, if Sabine hands him the saber and he just tosses it away, I think Brick's like dreams would come true. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but that would be amazing.
I don't know if it quite I love that moment too, but I don't think it quite fits Ezra right now.
No.
So like it took us a while to get used to Mary Elizabeth Winstead playing the character Hera. Rosario Dawson also a little bit as well. I think Sabine has been pretty great as far as me getting used to that. I was immediately
100%.
That's Ezra.
Kayla said it straight away. The voice was so perfect.
Great.
It's
the voice is perfect.
Like, I've been watching Rebels.
The look is perfect. Like this is the dude that played Aladdin, right? Aladdin in the Aladdin live action.
Is it?
I think so.
I haven't watched that.
I haven't watched it.
Johnny.
That's why he looks familiar.
You love that movie so much.
I've watched it once, but
I have not seen it.
Once. I've watched it once a day.
Once a
since it came
day.
out.
Yeah.
Since its release.
It's constantly in rotation.
Uh-huh.
But as soon as I saw his face, I'm like, that's his face. Even with the
Scott D
beard
says
and hair.
they didn't hire the Aladdin guy. I think that was heavily rumored at first.
It was rumored.
Was it not him?
Yeah.
Then
I mean, originally it was
Fake
Rahul
news.
Cooley was the rumor. Like it wasn't gonna be Rahul, but yeah.
I've been watching all
looks
the...
like
No, let's see why he looked familiar. I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
it up.
Ralph's looking that up. While he's looking that up, I'll say another casting thing. I didn't notice until I saw the credits. The main Night Sister, like the middle one, is Claudia Black. Was Aaron's son from Farscape.
Okay.
She was the first one that talks, and I don't know how I didn't recognize
the Great Mother.
Yeah, one of the Great Mothers. She's the first one that talks when they arrive.
But more importantly, she's from Pitch Black.
Yeah.
More importantly, Enoch, the head guard with the cool mask, is Wes Chatham.
You're pulling me away from IMDb. Listen, dude,
we don't need IMDb for these people.
The reveal was amazing, and also reminded me of the reveal of the mask in Chronicles of Riddick. Okay, that's the second Riddick.
Yeah,
reference.
And I think someone said it earlier. There was Kintsugi clone.
Yeah, I had that written down too. Like the stormtroopers all have the Kintsugi cracks and whatnot filled in with gold.
Did they? I mean, I saw some with gold, but there was a lot with red or red
the tape, the bandage.
Yeah,
very nice history. Like
it was like part Kintsugi, part Shibari.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. We don't know what they've been doing for the last 10 years. They've been practicing.
Also, people think they're just zombies now too.
I think at least some of them might well be like, or at least like in the same way that what's his name, Malik or whatever, the Marek. It I think there might be green smoke in there, but yeah, it's Amos from The Expanse was Wes Chatham, who's the main one. I hope we see him without his mask on because he's great. And if you're gonna hire someone that good, take the mask off at some point. But yeah, that helmet's super cool.
Okay, so the actor playing Ezra is Iman Esfandi.
Okay,
I don't know him from anything.
No,
he's known for King Richard. From 2021, he directed a couple of shorts, and then there's something called Red 11. But other than that, I don't know any of these things
because that means that he'll be easy to lock in to be the hero of the movie that Filoni does with the rest of this cast. So that's awesome. It's gonna happen. Staying on those troopers for a minute, Tristan mentions his. Yeah, they were loading coffins, weren't they? Like coffins, stasis chambers.
They talk about the catacombs.
Sparty cloning cylinders, maybe. Like we don't know what they are. Like they're definitely something in there. That's how
definitely bringing something back from the dead.
That's Thrawn's army.
As soon as they showed up, they started doing that.
And they said like that was a pre-planned thing. That like with your permission, we've seen the catacombs. Like we need your magic once again. Like.
Yeah,
like it's amazing.
They said it would take 3 rotations to get all of them out.
3 days worth of, or the equivalent of 3 days worth of stuff to get there. 3 witches, Adam mentions it here. 3 witches always come in threes, and it's very Shakespearean. It goes way back, doesn't it? Says Macbeth, I think.
Trouble.
It's a tie to the fates too from Greek mythology because that main Night Sister's name is Clotho. It's Klothow in the credits, which is very close to Clotho, who does the Thread of Fate from mythology. So there's all those things that come in threes and the Fate Sisters.
So that's it. Like Filoni is definitely pulling a lot from like Tolkien, but also from other mythology, like way back. It's all right there. But that's what makes it fun because it's like we can all make these like educated guesses on all of it, but it's where's he gonna pull from? Where's he gonna pull from?
Because have we predicted these last 2 episodes at all? Absolutely not. No one has even come close.
No.
Like
so
it's amazing.
As much as we've been talking about how Andor felt so focused in its storytelling, like this is so focused in its Star Wars storytelling. Like it feels so much more. Yeah, Adam Fraser mentions Joseph Campbell. Like it's what I wanted from Mandalorian since day one. Serialized Star Wars, like a Flash Gordon serial that Lucas based original Star Wars after. Like this is hitting that, and the mythology that they're including is crazy because I didn't know any of that stuff.
No, I didn't know the Greek stuff.
I didn't know any stuff anybody's talked about, like even in the chat.
Smart.
And but it's one of those things where I'm like, no, it's just Star Wars. But it does. It's not distracting. It doesn't distract. It's like the greatest Star Wars is the ones where you're just like, this is entertaining. The fights are good and the space battles are good and there's cool looking places and cosplayers are going to go nuts. But then if you want to go in deeper, it's available there. It's the
so
whole recent whole EU thing.
We like going deeper.
We always like going deeper, as deep as possible.
It's speaking of going deeper, we talked about this briefly before we went on live. It's something that Stevie mentioned. It's something that's kind of obvious. It's the witch's rock going right up into the Star Destroyer and the Thrawn Star Destroyer. It's literally shaped.
Well, since you said it, into the Star Destroyer's pussy.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if that's like they
never seen that with a Star Destroyer before. I mean,
it's
a new one. We've seen them crash into each other.
Stuff. Yeah. He did have a smirk on his face when he got off the ship as well.
Clearly, it doesn't work Star Destroyer to Star Destroyer. It has to work Rock to Star Destroyer.
Come on, don't say what does and doesn't work. They can try whatever they want.
Yeah, he's not drinking a 40. He's drinking tea. Brad, show your thing of tea, Johnny.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's
yeah.
It's just to get through.
I took the day off work today, so.
It was a cool visual because since Star Wars 1977, the first thing you see is the Tantive 4 going up into the hangar of the Death Star or in the Star Destroyer. And this time we get an actual insider look of what that looks like in there with them standing on the platform and it just sort of enveloping them. I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it doesn't have to be like buff Mandalorians to be cool. It just has to be like something.
I felt like I was in Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
I did like too that when the Star Destroyer passes by, like it's all patched up with gold too, just like the
what was available, like
the Stormtrooper stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that gold plating is clearly
the
like
Chimera.
That's the Chimera, yeah. So we've got all the the artwork underneath it is the Chimera. I guess straight out of Heir to the Empire. Like it's been there from day one. Captain Pelion, who we saw in Mandalorian, is gonna love it when it gets back to the other galaxy and he gets to be the captain on the bridge there.
Adam's comment. Dude, it's a metaphor for the supernatural world penetrating the imperial military industrial complex, man. Also, not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate.
Like you really put the emphasis on it too.
I will also say, as someone who has not watched Rebels, Thrawn's introduction felt like a big fucking deal. They nailed it. Yeah. Like he's walking down through all those, and I'm like, this dude's
Thrawn horn.
Serious.
He got the Thrawn horn. Like Kevin Kiner always used like those horns when Thrawn was in Rebels, and so like to have that as like his theme, like his just grand entrance, and then all the troopers just sort of chanting, like it was very like deep, like Thrawn. It was so good. It was
the best villain entrance. The best villain entrance since Darth Vader.
Might be.
I think it's better than the Emperor's.
And it should be as well. Like we should feel that he is a major threat, and I think that comes across. Like
I think they nailed it with him and the devotion already. You can tell from the troops to him, from Morgan to him. Him having Enoch, that specialized bodyguard second, whatever his story is. Yeah, he's a big deal, and that comes across even as someone like I've seen the synopsis and read about it, and I understand like everything that he does, his focus on art and studying his enemies and learning about them through their artwork.
Yeah.
But just this scene of him coming down was just
his confidence
amazing
as well. Like the way he just walks in, he's got a bit of a smile on his face. He's like, it's taken 10 years. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, very matter of fact. Like,
yep, that's absolutely fine. 3 days, that's within our time frame. That's all good. Like the 3 witches who we look at and they've got power, and we think of them as being like this powerful force, and they are so at his mercy. Like they are they are bowing to him. He's a god in that world. Yeah.
The perfect thing that made this all for me, and his characterization of Thrawn and how it's written, is the fact that he said to Sabine that it's good to see a familiar face.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
he's a fan of hers. He likes her art.
Yeah, that's true.
He's always been a fan.
And she's a great
I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah,
but he was
excited to meet her in Rebels.
This is a dude that's been here for 10 years scheming, and just to see a familiar face, whether it's an enemy or a friend, it doesn't matter. He's like, oh, it's good to see a familiar face. Like it was such a, I thought it was such a great line. It just shows, it gives you insight into the character, because for folks like Johnny who haven't seen Clone Wars and Rebels, you've got a lot of Thrawn talk in this series leading up to this, so that felt earned. But to give that little bit of
acknowledgement,
face,
yeah,
it lets everybody know, like, oh, hey, this guy's,
they've interacted, like
he's respectful.
And that's the thing, he always has been. That's why he's such a cool villain. It's like, he's not the Darth Vader, if you mess up, I'm going to punish you and kill you just for like missing something. He's like, learn from it. What went wrong? What can we do better next time? Okay, I'm going to be one step ahead next time. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to study my enemies. I'm not just, he's not brute force. He's intricate. He's a needle that does the job, as opposed to Vader being a fist that will just whack away at anything.
But he knows he's the smartest one in the room.
Yeah.
He knows he's the smartest one in the room. But it's it's fine.
I mean, you must love Kayla. You must love the 501st being Vader's fist.
Yes. I was just thinking, I was like, Thrawn just has a different kink than Vader does in terms of how he runs things. It's fine.
Yep.
Not gonna yuck his yum.
Very dominating.
Brad Brooks mentions it was jarring in a good way to hear his voice in live action. Yeah, it's, again, obviously they've cast Lars Mikkelsen, who did the voice in Rebels.
Yep.
But it's sometimes when you have the same actor playing in live action and stuff, it does sound slightly different. This, though, it was exactly pitch perfect. It was exactly the same. And it's a few years later. It's been a while since he's played him, so it's cool. And it's very, very cool.
It feels like 1991 Timothy Zahn, Heir to the Empire book. Like when I saw him with all, it's like they based it off of the cover. I don't have it on me, but it's based like all of his yeah, there he goes. See, this is the point of the show where I talk shit on James because he's not listening, and I go back to see if he actually rewatches the show or not. But look at that cool wedge helmet. So the outfit,
talking shit about you.
Is it
standard?
Do you have the cover? Does it?
They changed it for the Essentials Legends collection. We just got his face. But like it used to be like the old cover was where you saw him. The only thing they changed it in Rebels, was it used to be like quite like the shoulder patches that were gold, like had some tassels on them and stuff. They were a bit more like fabric, whereas now they're like those plates that go over. But they changed that back in Rebels, and they've just stuck with the Rebels costume. So it is 100%. But it's also, I like that it's slightly like scuffed up and messed up.
Yeah, I was going to say that the detail like around the collar and whatnot. Yeah.
He's been wearing the same uniform for 10 years now. And in
he
that
doesn't
last
wash
episode
it.
Well, no, I mean they're gonna have limited laundry facilities on that Star Destroyer, aren't they? Like he's
probably not washing it for luck. He thinks it's bad luck if he washes it. Like that's athletes do that.
Yeah. He probably like was wearing it when he finally got rid of Ezra off of it, or when Ezra escaped. So he took that as a win, and he's like, right, I'm gonna hang it up when I go to sleep. But yeah.
So they did change it a little bit.
There it is. That's the costume. Yeah.
So he doesn't have the big sort of shoulder things.
That's what I'm saying. They just did it.
That's the poofy white part of the pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very like naval.
Yeah.
Love boat.
Yeah. Who was the dude in the middle with the spirit fingers?
That's Jorah Saboth. He's a dark Jedi.
People thought that was going to be Balin.
No bleach in the
That's
galaxy.
who I've been sort of comparing Balin to slightly, where he was involved in a whole cloning thing that Thrawn was involved in. So I think maybe what they're going to do going forward is, instead of it being clones that are gone crazy, it'll be Night Sister magic revived or created troops. That'll be his army, and why he's able to raise such an army so quickly.
I realized I grabbed the image for the audiobook with performance by Dennis Lawson. Dennis Lawson, who played Wedge.
That was the old original version, like the book on tape one, the one that was only like 4 or 5 hours long, the abridged version.
Those abs, though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, dude,
those abs are ingrained in every kid who was a Star Wars fan in 1990. Like I was like,
looks like a Masters of the Universe action figure.
It's crazy.
Well, the original pitch was that he was going to be a clone of Obi-Wan, but Lucas nixed it. He was like, "No, we're not going to do that." So he was just a dark Jedi. Is a clone, and was like rescued out of the far, like not another galaxy, but he was part of a thing called Outbound Flight, which was studying extra galactic stuff. So there's a lot in there. There is a lot from the Thrawn trilogy in this series and in this time frame.
Love that.
Yeah, there's so much.
That's awesome.
That's why I've been rereading these 3 books. I've been going back to
them.
I'm on the last one at the moment. I've got about 50, 60 pages left. They are, but they're so shortened, they're truncated, so you're not going to get the whole lot.
It's for you toy guys.
He
very well may have been given the reason for the Power of the Force line with the ripped abs, the buff Luke and stuff. Yeah.
That's funny. I liked Stevie's comment earlier. He's also the only alien in the Imperial ranks. He has to act different. He can't lash out. He has to do it right every time. He's trained himself to be absolutely composed at all times. That's a great point. Yeah. That's very true. Did not even think of it that way. Yeah,
he was so good that they couldn't, they could not use him.
Again, James's book corner. Like when they brought Timothy Zahn to do the in canon books now, the Thrawn trilogy stuff. Like they gave his whole story about when he joined the Empire and stuff like that. And yeah, he was sent by his people to sort of join and to see if there was anything there. And he's like, I like this. This is a big army. They'll be helpful against my fight, because he had a separate fight going on back there. And like he rose up through the ranks really quick by just proving himself to be better than everyone else. And they kind of have got rid of some of the like anti-alien sentiment that was in the old EU. Same with like there are now women officers and people of color in the Empire, whereas they didn't used to be, because it was the 90s and everything was really gross. But
I mean, they're fascist bad guys. So.
But they're fascist bad guys, so you could get away with it in terms of like making them very obvious. But like now
everyone could be a fascist bad guy.
Yeah. Now anyone could be a prick. So they've made it so that a lot of different people can be pricks. Alison mentions that Luke used to like drinking hot chocolate that Lando gave him, and that she thinks it was edited out.
I'm guessing it's not actually hot chocolate.
It's 100% called hot chocolate.
But is it supposed to be something else?
Nope. Lando discovered it on one of his many travels, and Luke likes it. It's really sweet. It's hot chocolate. It's pretty weird, but yeah, he drinks hot chocolate. Comes up
I
a
wonder
few
what
times.
color it is. How does that mix with brown? Like brown and blue?
Yeah, it's just blue. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be weird if that was
sounds
warm.
Don't want to know.
So can you get
I
hot
don't
chocolate
like
Galaxy,
I mean, you can make hot chocolate with water, so maybe they just use
That's
water.
it. Yeah, it's just
That's
the
true.
powdered stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the I call it tandoori, but it's not. It's the other name, the swirl one at Galaxy's Edge that they put tahini in it because I love tahini so much. It's something with a T name that I always forget.
Yeah, if you want to see me drink that for the first time, I did that on the channel for the Life Day.
The tahini one, or
it is so good. Yeah,
really jealous. It looked great.
Yeah, it's got the tahini on top, and it was like a swirl. Yeah, I think it was a mango or something in there.
I think it's the like green milk because there's blue and there's green, and then they just mix it with the tahini and I think chamoy as well. Oh, it's so good. Anything with tahini.
I've got a bottle of it in my cupboard downstairs. I had to import it because I was just like, I just want this around my rim when I'm making margaritas at home.
Oh yeah, I put it on fruit, put it on everything, put on cucumber. Oh, so good.
Nice.
We're talking spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spice runners. I mean, literally, I had to import it in.
Yeah, do they not have tahini there? You have to. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a company called Penzies.
I have like 5 bottles at all times because then I put them in my car and then I accidentally bring them inside. So then
I thought you just had one for the road just in case you need.
Oh no, I do. I normally do, and then I have a mini one I try to keep like in my backpack or in my purse. But then sometimes I mix it. I don't put it in the right place, so then I have to buy a new one. So I just stack up bottles. Every time I come home with a new one, my roommates are like, "Really?" I'm like, "I forgot it. I'm sorry."
Hey, I have a question.
Hit me.
No.
What the fuck is tahini? I don't know what you're talking about.
Johnny, you cannot have been friends with me for this long without knowing what tahini is.
Apparently I can because I don't.
My bottles. I will be...
Oh, jeez.
She's going to get the bottle, she says.
Spice. Yes. How would you describe it, right? It's a spice. It's got some lime.
It's a mix of like sort of like a lime chili powder with other spices and maybe some salt and stuff. It's like a sprinkle. It's like a salt, pepper, and then tahini would be like a sort of a chili version of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people put it on like fruit, like on mango and pineapple. It's really good. Or corn and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of just. Have you ever seen like a what is it, Michelada, the sort of beer with the
or like a spicy margarita when instead of salt.
I don't drink, so like I'll have like a hard cider once every like 6 months, and that's the extent of my alcohol consumption. So all of that is Greek to me.
But do you ever see like the people with the styrofoam cups with the red rim around it with the powder on it?
I can't say that I have.
It doesn't have to be styrofoam. You can do it on a glass.
Yeah, but I mean, mostly you see that here. They sell those. They sell Michelada styrofoam cups. Yeah, it's just an empty styrofoam cup. It's saran wrapped. You open it up, pour your own beer in it.
It's a seasoning. There you go. It's a seasoning.
Okay. Oh, here she goes. Okay, here we go.
It's that.
I just brought one bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so basically, I will literally just put it straight into my mouth, but
what else?
What it looks like.
It's not the first time I heard that.
It's so good.
Okay, so I was going to tell you, Kayla, there's
they also put it on candy.
Yeah, you can get it on anything.
Interesting.
There's a company called Penzies. They do spices and stuff. They have a version called Pico Fruta, which is absolutely amazing. I like it more than tahini. I'm going to have to get you some and send it your way.
Wait, what do you call it?
Just to give it a shot.
Fruta?
It's called Pico Fruta. But it's from a spice company called Penzies, which a friend of mine gave me a $50 gift card once for my birthday. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Got it. And now we're hooked. My friend Jorge, I got him the same thing because we were talking about spices. He's hooked. And so I'm like the spice runner in fucking Southern California.
Yeah, really.
Oh, I want some. This
Yeah.
sounds great.
Also,
likes the
yeah, I will fire
Okay.
him, Allison. Don't worry.
What a way
Adam
to go
Fraser
out.
says Pico Fruta is my favorite expanding universe character. 100%.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the name of the little turtle boy in this episode.
I mean, I didn't hear a name,
Yeah.
so from now on, he's
Go-
Pico Fruta.
Pico Fruta.
Go get some right after this, Johnny.
I didn't hear names, but the subtitles referred to him as Little Nito speaks Nito language, Nito.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the species is Nito.
Apparently, and then it said
Well,
pretty
they were
the
saying
the
the bandits
subtitles.
were also speaking Nito.
Yeah,
I saw
Oh,
that.
interesting.
the bandits
Mhm.
were speaking that language too.
I mean,
yeah.
it sounded
New
like
language. Sound like a new
it sounded
language,
like
right?
Tuscans and Jawas to me.
It said in the
like-
subtitles.
Yeah.
Subtitties.
the ones underneath the main ones.
Well, also to tell
That third nipple, that's where
the-
it comes in.
yes. To have the dog wolf horse thing sit, it was Tota.
Yeah,
And then but then when the little Nitos were talking to each other, they were saying, I think Toto. So I think that was like Tota is to like sit or down, and Toto is to like stand up, because that's when they all popped up.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
my
not sure
gosh.
exactly, but that's what it sounded
You
like.
haven't done the full translation just yet. You're just working.
Only
on it.
because I I take care of a lot of dogs, and I tell them to sit, and there are some that I've taught them how to sit in Spanish, siéntate, and then you can also tell them to stand. So I just was very much paying attention to the sit
Amazing.
command of the dog.
it's very much in her wheelhouse.
I like it.
Yeah.
It was when we first saw them, like you see that wide shot and you see them howling on the side there. I was like,
Mhm.
man, like it's a Dave Filoni show, and it's taken him this long to get to a wolf. Like that's showing quite a lot of restraint for him.
Mhm.
So
That's why you had to name like 5 characters after wolf names.
yeah, absolutely. And then he was a wolf name himself.
Trapper
and-
wolf, yeah.
Yeah, like he loves himself a wolf. But I liked them. They were very cool, and I hope that like at least this one comes back, because it seemed like Ezra was
Yeah.
like really like pleasantly surprised
He
that
was
she was
so
riding one.
cute.
So yeah, I hope that they come. Yeah, okay, yeah, they can bring another one back. Well, Shin's one, which I believe was like quite white. It looked quite white,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so you can tell them apart. So Shin's gonna turn to the light side, and those
I
two
hope so.
wolves will come back.
I would like to have Shin Hottie on my side.
So were these wolves
Yeah.
similar to the ones that were contacting
The Loth wolves.
Caleb Doom?
Nah, I think they might like integrate with the Loth wolves. That would be a fun like end of season
Consummate.
scene. Yeah, they're just like, oh, cool. Like we're wolfish. You're wolfish. You're gonna have some.
Let's
like,
be friends.
Wolf-ish, Loth wolf and
Babies.
rat wolf like mongrels running around on Lothal.
Loth wolf
Annoying
and Tuck.
E-wings, like just pouncing E-wings out of the sky, like because all space
When
ops are
you-
bastards.
Yeah, that's true. When you meet Dave Filoni, you win cool points with him when you say "nice wolf shirt, Dave." Oh, I
James,
love
you were
that.
saying Shin's wolf is white, so you expect like that to her to turn to
Ghost.
the light side
I
because
mean,
of
maybe.
that. You know, there was foreshadowing at the very beginning of this episode when Sabine's in the cell on the ship, and she's Balin asks her, she finds her accommodations limiting. She's like, I was hoping for a room with a view, and then when she gets onto Peridia, she gets a room with a view.
Gets that
Yep,
view.
she gets exactly like I was almost expecting her to just like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's better than the last one. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that she's like,
Indeed.
I thought you might take this time to like do some self-reflection and stuff, and she's like, yeah, I'll try and avoid that. I'm like,
Yeah, same.
can relate, can relate, can relate.
Yes.
This is why
Absolutely.
we like you. This is why we like you, Sabine. Really interesting, because we always think about Thrawn being the smartest one in the room. He doesn't know too much about Ahsoka.
Apparently not. Yeah, he
I
said he
love-
wanted to
he
know
He was
everything.
like, I want to
Who's
learn
this
everything
again?
about her. I'm like,
give
wait,
me the
you didn't?
Wikipedia entry. Like he needs to like visit Wikipedia to like get all of the Ahsoka info. He needs to do like 7 seasons of
but
Clone
I guess
Wars.
that does make sense. I think just because we
she
think
was
of
gone by the time
them
he
both
comes into
being in
Rebels.
Rebels. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. I was like,
yeah, it's like literally the next episode is like
it was a good reminder.
Out with Ahsoka, in with Thrawn. They didn't ever cross paths there. And so when Adam mentions it here, he's like, I want to know all about her homeworld, her species, her master. And I was like, yeah, when he learns that Anakin was her master, because he has interacted with Anakin as both Anakin and as Vader. And he's some of those books, he's implied as being one of the few people that figured it out on his own, that one and the same. So I mean, obviously, Balin knows. So I think it's really interesting. And we were saying for the first few episodes, cannot wait for Balin and Ahsoka to have a conversation. I now really cannot wait for Thrawn and Ahsoka to have some chats about Anakin.
Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy town. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do we? I mean, do we have any predictions? What do we think next episode is gonna be? I think obviously we're gonna see Ahsoka next episode. Someone said we would go back and see Hera and Carson, but I
have.
Oh, what do you think?
I have predictions about all that. That's the other note I had that I wanted to bring up later. So I'm thinking at the end of next episode, of course, setting myself up for disappointment, but the show hasn't disappointed yet.
I love that you've been setting yourself up for disappointment, but it's done exactly the opposite of what you've said, and then you've still loved it.
Yeah, so set your expectations real low.
There's only going to be one way out, and that's going to be the hyperspace ring, which is now carrying the Chimera.
Yeah, 100%. That's why they build it as a ring.
We got to get everybody on board when that takes off. I think that's where the next one's going to end. I think there's going to be obviously a scuffle here with Ahsoka and Thrawn and Balin and Ezra and everybody.
I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we lose Balin next week.
Maybe. I mean, I'm hoping the series.
Because it's going to be so hard, obviously, if he survives this series.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be part of things going forward because, we don't know.
Such a great character. Would love that. Yeah. We can't have it with.
Can't have it.
We can't. Well, I mean, they could recast him.
Unless they deep fake.
But it's like, at this point, he's done such a good performance. It's like just yeah.
I feel like it would be disservice.
It would be.
Have
I feel like the end of next episode will conclude with the ships going back into hyperspace, going back to the galaxy. That's how
the Chimera penetrating the ring.
I know we have a movie coming up, and I know you don't want to do too much, but I want to say by the time they get back, they're going to be met by Hera in the Ghost with all of the Rebel Alliance. I think at the time we've been gone, she's convinced.
So you think that's the beginning of 8? Beginning of part 8?
Yeah, Home 1. I think the climax of this episode or this series will be
Chimera versus Home 1.
Yeah. Let's get looking there.
And you think that's going to be an episode 8 and not next episode?
Leia's been mentioned. So...
Yeah, next episode I believe is going to be on this planet. What was it called, Johnny?
Peridia.
And then it'll be there. Yeah, it'll be
Someone's
there.
Got to remember it.
And them trying to make the escape. Everybody leaving the ship on the Star Destroyer, and then it'll be like boom into hyperspace, directed by whoever.
Do we know? Do we know who's doing this?
I know Rick Famuyiwa is doing one. I think Steph Green is doing 2. I guarantee you, Adam would know.
Yeah, Adam.
I think Rick Famuyiwa is doing the last one, which he's not my favorite.
I had the list.
But I just say,
if he just does,
I just know
the
all I know is half the episodes are women.
Yeah, they're the best ones. They are the best ones. They always.
Which I'm like,
had his one, which was good, but
which I'm like, I get that it's Filoni's baby, and then there's also who's the other dude you just mentioned?
Rick Famuyiwa.
There's someone that's a person of color, and so I'm like, okay, that's great, but like also this is like a female woman-led series. Like, can we just have it be done by a woman? Maybe season 2. One can dream, but like I get it. It's Filoni's baby.
Okay.
Next week is
Okay.
Geek the F Out.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that it ends with them going in back to our galaxy
future.
and it being into the oh great, what's going to happen next? We'll see.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I love Famuyiwa's stuff outside of Star Wars more than I love his Star Wars stuff, but I still don't mind his Star Wars stuff. I think it's fun.
I didn't care for his Mandalorian season 3 finale episode at all.
No, I didn't. But I still give him a pass because Dope is.
And he did the egg.
Movies.
I think he did the egg episode.
Oh god, yeah, that was his first one though. That was like everyone was finding their way at that point. We'll see. I think they get back. By the end, or they're on their way back. End of next episode. Last episode, big fight. I think Thrawn wins. I think Thrawn should win that fight with whatever resolution we see, so that it sets them up going forward.
Can we get Luke? Is Luke maybe face to face with Thrawn?
I hope we get Leia more than we get Luke. And what Allison said, Billy Lord as deepfake.
Sure. Billy Lord as I don't even deepfake. You just don't need to deepfake her at this point. Just Billy Lord as Leia in this era. I'm fine with it. Let's just do it.
And Alden Ehrenreich.
And Alden Ehrenreich as Han. Yeah.
I mean, if they brought Genevieve O'Reilly to sort of hop over the other
Sebastian Stan as Luke.
Sebastian Stan as Luke, Donald Glover as Lando. Just bring them all in. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Did you hear they're making a Lando movie?
Yeah, of course I did.
Mm-hmm. Of course you heard.
Of course I had. Yeah, Steven
you know who you're talking to.
Yeah, Stephen Glover's writing it as well. Like they've written it. I think that it's pretty much like done. So. I was interested that he was talking about it. He was talking about on some sports podcast that they just had Stephen Glover on, and he was like, "Yeah, the series it sort of evolved and it became a movie, so we've written it as a movie now."
Yeah, it was so casually dropped.
I mean, it's very much in the way that those guys work. So it's like, yeah, we got it. It's done. Well, let's just get these strikes sorted, and then we can start production.
Yeah, pay the damn people.
Hell yeah!
God, is that hard?
I'm in this weird sort of area where the streamers are going to need content and no one to provide them with that content. And I'm hoping that our documentary, our documentary can be like, oh shit, we'll take anything.
We got something made. Yeah.
yeah. This documentary.
Yeah, you can sell it to everyone.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Great. So excited. Gettinglostdoc.com. Go check it out. Go back.
3 days left, right? As of today, 3 days left.
Friday. It'll be done on Friday at 11:59.
So close to 108.
PST?
I haven't checked.
We're gonna hit it
today.
Yeah. I checked it a couple of hours ago, and it was I think 103. So like it's there. It's just
shit,
there.
dude. We're like 1,200 away.
Oh wow!
Wait, what?
It's at 106
wow.
right now.
Let's just keep going. Like you got your first 10 grand came live while we were doing the show. Like let's.
That was nuts, dude. And then we got another 10 grand immediately after that. Did I tell you that?
I think you mentioned it like in your message. You were like, "Yeah, we just got another one." Like,
because someone was thinking about getting the 10 grand perk, and then when they saw that the second of 3 got taken, they totally had FOMO and were like, I'm getting it also. Like they flat out told me that, like they were afraid they were going to go away, so they got it right away. And the reason they got it was because that was the last ticket to the VIP ticket for the premiere.
Yeah,
it's like it's a lot.
So good. If you have a
premiere's definitely going to be in LA, right? I might have to find a place to stay in. Add that on. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend in LA.
Yeah.
Anyways. Ahsoka.
Yes. We've talked about our predictions. Guys, have you got any predictions for the last couple of episodes?
Fuck shit up.
Fuck shit up.
Yeah. I just want shit to be fucked. Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably going to be similar to what Ralph said. But like considering no one has predicted the last 2 episodes, I have no idea. I don't think we're gonna like get a Hera and Carson episode. I think it'll be where they are now, and Ahsoka will arrive and conflict will ensue. And yeah, I think the only way back is on the Eye of Sauron.
You know what I want? I get that reference. You know what I want is that we haven't seen is Pilot Luke. Yeah, let's get Luke in his X-wing as Red Leader.
Wow, rogue leader at this point. Like, but
just let him like with R2
or just Wedge, just Wedge and rest of the Rogue Squadron. Yeah. Wedge, Tycho, Harvey, Wes. No, what? Yeah,
we're just naming reindeer.
Yeah. Gavin Darklighter. Let's have Gavin Darklighter in there. Let's put
Pico
Alex. Put Alex. Put Alex and Molly in there as X-wing pilots, and let Alex be Gavin Darklighter. Let him grow his mustache back. That'd be great.
I don't know. I posted last night before the episode dropped because I had to have it like documented with a timestamp somewhere if this is what happened. I said, I sincerely hope that they don't decide to do like a day in the life of the New Republic for this episode and just like leave us hanging on what was the other galaxy.
We get a Mandalorian episode in the middle of this.
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't do that, thankfully. There was very little Ahsoka in this episode, but everything was necessary and everything was compelling.
Oh, there was no Sabine last week, so it's fine. Yeah.
I have no idea where they're gonna go with it. I'm interested to see. I think there's some things that are going to be obvious, like Thrawn is obviously going to betray Balin and Shin, like because he said so much, like escape is the priority. It doesn't matter if they're dead or if they're stranded here.
If they come back, they come back. But if not, like it doesn't matter.
I just want Shin Hati to be on the good side.
I think he's coming.
I don't know.
I think it's coming before
Black and Lizzo.
Do you think that do you think it's going to end up with a season 2, or are they going to wrap everything up this season?
I think from everything that I'd seen even before the show started, and then as it's gone on, they're just sort of saying it is like really ends ready for a second season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously
we
nothing.
Just got Thrawn in episode 6. Like there has to be a second season. Like I know there's a movie, but I think there has to be a second season.
That's it.
Like, I think can't introduce the bad guy in episode 6 of only 8 episodes.
But I mean,
that's a fair point.
He's the bad guy for this whole era, like of storytelling, like for the movie, for the other shows. Like he's already been mentioned and sort of set up in
Big Bad Zaddy
Mando. Like so, yeah, he's now the big bad of this era, basically until the First Order's up and running. But I obviously with the strikes and everything, no one's renewing or announcing anything at the moment, so we don't know.
Well, they renewed One Piece, so they are announcing some stuff.
Okay,
but who knows when it's going to get made?
And if they're going to actually use writers or just AI to write it, or just adapting something? Does adapting something fall into the different thing? Could they just type into fucking ChatGPT, adapt One Piece volumes X to Z? Like, there's your second season. Yes, and
it's hard to say. That's the whole thing around all these strikes is AI.
I have not seen. I'm really sad. I have not seen any sex bots lately, and I was like, I need our channel to get a sex bot. Like that's how.
That's how we know we really made it.
Yeah. I haven't seen any on any channels.
We usually get ours from Twitch.
Thespians on Twitch.
Yeah,
all of us. Get them on there?
We've only ever had like 1 or 2 real Twitch viewers who comment. Everything else that we've ever had on there is all bots.
Yeah, I haven't seen any bots on the Dice Thespians chat.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, so you got
Dogehype.com.
Yeah, God.
Sometimes I'm able to delete those, and sometimes I'm not. I don't know what allows me to.
If you're going through YouTube, you should be able to.
I mean, it's StreamYard.
It's been forever since I've seen an invasion of sex bots, and I watch a lot of diverse streams. Yeah,
maybe they've cracked down. Maybe the the sex bots are on strike as well.
They're
Unison and all that. Like, yeah.
You would think they would be the ones still working since it's like AI.
Maybe.
But
well,
sex work is work.
Exactly. Unity with everyone.
Tell me about it.
So if you haven't supported Ralph yet, go over to onlyfans.com/getting lost.
Casino Skunk. I pointed that on everything across all platforms.
Good.
Do that. Do some exclusive streams over there.
There you go. I think Shin turns by the end of the season. That's it. That's my only final thought.
I'll make her turn.
Kayla is obsessed with the blonde chicks with bobs right now. It's Shin and it's Nurse Chapel from Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Which you're also obsessed with Chapel.
I mean, that's fair. Yes.
Yeah. It's not just me.
No.
All inclusive.
Yes.
Everyone as well.
And now I'm obsessed.
Yes. I think we all are. I will say though, I mean, this cast is just amazing and is also very hot. Which some people men have been complaining about Sabine's short hair, and they're like, oh, I like her better with the long hair. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That is really the patriarchy telling you that women are only beautiful with long hair. Shut the fuck up. She's still hot. Yeah, I'm like so sick of it. I'm so sick of it.
Everyone looks great. I don't like everyone who's just like, oh, I don't know about the look of Ahsoka. I don't know how Hera looks. It's like they all look so good. This is definitely the most attractive Star Wars show that we've had yet.
And also like the most diverse, the most women driven. Like it's great. It's great. I love it. And I think some people's gripes with it are probably a little bit misogynistic and racist, and they need to check themselves a little bit. They can deny it all they want, but I think they are.
I listened to a show that was literally saying Ahsoka doesn't smile enough, and I was like,
"Oh Jesus!"
I'm like, great. Now I have to be a guest on this show next week.
Oh, and then them saying how she crosses her arms all the time. I'm like, did you watch Clone Wars and Rebels? That is what she fucking does. And it was cool to see, when she became Ahsoka the White, like in the what is her spaceship called?
Hashtag Ahsoka so white.
Oh no.
What is it called? I don't think it's cool. I think that's her. They're like cool
that's
sign
just what they call it. Yeah.
I
don't know if the ship has it.
They're Jedi.
Oh, you don't know?
Shuttle.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think it's got a designation.
Her just like chilling, leaning on the side, like
she's so chill at the back.
She's just
cracking jokes.
Her.
Yes, it's that weight.
It's
like that giving up because she had the whole interaction with Anakin, which was the thing that was holding her down. Yeah.
Which I knew we would see this change, or like we would see like more emotion come out of her. But the comments about like you should smile more, I'm like like please. Like you have no idea how misogynistic that is.
It's the same people that were like really aggressively against Bo-Katan or really aggressively against the what's her name in Obi-Wan. It's like it's always the same loud people. They're awful, and we coined a term from way back of the Minox. They're Minox. Like, and we don't want them.
Sucking out the fun.
They're sucking the fun out of Star Wars, and we don't want them. We don't like them. And
chewing on
fans of things make those things worse. That's been my mantra for like the last 5 years.
And that's the thing is like, at what point do you not get to call yourself a fan anymore? If you don't like, if you're a fan, that means you're fanatical about something. You like it.
Yeah.
So if you don't like something, you're not a fan. You can just
not. They're just hate
you can
watching.
Leave. Yeah.
You exactly. Leave. Don't watch. Just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. There's so much other content on, and I'm sure there's a lot of content that'll fit your needs.
Yeah.
So
I don't watch that. I don't watch that. I don't go over there and start like saying this is awful. Like, why are people watching this? But like, if you want it, great. It's there. Good for you. Enjoy. I don't watch that, so
Yeah, we'll just hang out over here on this side of the internet.
It's nice over here.
We like to include people and not feel like they can't be here.
We'd like to include guests next week, but we can't. We've been trying, but there's a few people who are in solidarity with the strikes and stuff. They're not doing anything over the next however long it takes. So we've not been able to get any guests for the next couple of weeks. So
also like I'm gonna continue to try. I've been reaching out again. Anybody out there with a podcast who isn't a dude with a beard, get on our show. We're so happy to have Johnny and Kayla here, but yeah, I appreciate we need more women. We need more women on the show.
Yes.
This clearly we don't have the same perspective on a show that requires that perspective.
Woman led.
It really does.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, people that were originally going to be doing Barbie streams with no women on. And it's just not okay.
Zero idea what you're talking about.
No.
No idea. Pink to this stream.
Nice. No, and I really appreciate that. Like when you tweeted about that, and I think there's people that
we were saying this when we were planning the season.
Yeah, and
we've been doing this since early August. We've been trying to get women on the show.
Yeah,
it's been really tough. It's a mixture of like work schedule for me this season of TV, and then also with the strikes and everything, and people deciding that they want to support them by not doing anything in that same time frame. So
promoting Ahsoka.
Yeah. Which is totally fair. It's a very, very valid reason, but we'll have them on at some point down the line.
Yeah. Allison
Allison can come on anytime.
Allison
was on.
She's great.
You were on Allison's show, or Allison was on your guys' show?
Well, I was on hers Sunday, and then she was on. She's been on a bunch of ours.
Yeah, the subject of live action Star Wars came up, and she flat out mentioned on the show, "Oh, they get up too early for me."
That's the problem.
Which totally we try to reach out to people on the East Coast, so it's not so early. Kayla is here on the West Coast with me, and we're super grateful.
You said 9 a.m. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah, this is literally the last week of 7:30. Yeah, it's just where I start work at a certain time and need to literally normally run.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's nice for me.
Yeah. See, she said we might be able to arrange something.
Awesome. I mean, and it's great. It's great that they're releasing the shows on Tuesday nights at 6.
Such a difference.
So
you can watch it 3 times before, like I did.
Same. I watched it twice last night and once this morning.
Yeah, I probably could have watched it more, but I was watching Toying Around's Boba Squadron about it after because I wanted to talk about it with people. So,
nice. Yeah.
As another white dude, I do my part by not being. Yeah, that's what we've had to tell people or I've at least had to tell people, because some people want to be on our shows, and I'm like, no offense, but trying not to have all white dudes on here.
Yeah. It's been tough.
Everyone's been very understanding. They're like, I get, I'm like, because that's been our thing from the beginning is there's already enough out there. We want to highlight people that aren't those people.
Yeah.
And, I think it's important because we get stuck in, once you start following a couple of people, that's who the algorithm suggests. So if you don't go out of your way to find these other people, they're not going to come up. So if we highlight people that don't look like ourselves, then hopefully that'll encourage others to not just follow them, but if they do follow them, then other people will get suggested that aren't just cis straight white males. So with beards. So
we are the worst.
That's
we're the worst in this. We're the worst, and there's too many of us.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, out of them, you 3 are good ones, are good eggs. # not all men.
That's what's great about. I think I like
# not all men, but most.
Yes.
What I like about our Invincible show is not a lot of people are talking about Invincible. Of course, they are white dudes with beards, but I feel like it's a smaller corner. as opposed to the Star Wars corner of things where it's like that's a lot of that.
Don't even get us started on Trek. It is all old people that love to try to mansplain misogyny to me. I'm like
yeah, it was something that I wasn't expecting when we started covering. We started covering Star Trek, the original series from the 60s, and we're getting a lot of comments, and I'm like, these people have to be in like their 70s, 80s. Like,
like some people trying to justify like pedophilia essentially. And I'm like, they're like,
what episode is that?
I was like, it wasn't okay at that time.
Episode 8, Miri.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
Comic book shop.
That'll do it.
Kirk hits on a 14-year-old. That's not okay.
Yeah, working in a comic book shop
at the time. Like it wasn't okay at that time.
For like nearly 10 years, selling Doctor Who crap to people. Like you see a type. Like it's you really really see a type, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, do not like.
Hashtag
do not
not
want...
all doctors. We like our Kuyang.
Yeah, he's great.
David Tennant.
He's great. It's funny because I just watched the second season of Good Omens, and it's so different characters.
He's so good in the show.
He's great.
He's so good in everything.
Everything.
So good. I saw he got like some achievement award. I think
British.
It must have been in the UK. Yeah, most British. And like, I'm not like a super fan of his, but I've been a fan of his for a long time. And
I've liked what I've watched. I just don't like Doctor Who, so I never watched Doctor Who.
I actually haven't seen him in Doctor Who. I've seen him in like pretty much everything else he's been in. But watching the like camera was just on him when they were like showing all these highlights of him, and he was just like, you can just tell like he's like a humble, good dude, and he was just like getting so emotional, and then I was getting emotional watching him get emotional.
That's
and
nice.
Like, you're great. Anyways,
guys, thank you for being on. Where can people find you? Online and anywhere else?
Yep, there.
There, yeah, that's for the people watching. It says at GTFO channel, but yeah, for audio listeners, at GTFO channel
on almost everything,
on almost anything,
Instagram,
everything.
Geek the F Out channel,
Twitter,
YouTube.
Threads. Yeah, Geek the F Out on YouTube. At GTFO channel and everything else, except for our email. If you want to email us, it's channelgtfo@gmail.com. But yeah, you can follow us there. And yeah, we're doing, like we just talked about, we're doing the Star Trek podcast right now called Trek Retrek, where we're starting with the original series because Johnny has seen everything Star Trek. I have seen nothing. And so we're going episode by episode, and those drop every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. Sorry, I don't know what time in the UK.
6 hours behind. No, 5 hours behind Eastern. Ahead of Eastern, sorry.
So 4 a.m.
2 a.m.
Yeah,
2 a.m.
Yeah, and then we're our clocks are going back an hour.
Yeah, yours change a week before ours. It's
weird. It's weird. But yeah, so we do that every Thursday, and yeah, we're talking about Ahsoka, but we're doing every other week, so our next show won't be until
and I've been on an episode Friday. Of that.
Yeah, Ralph was on our very first one. It's very exciting. And next episode, Allison will be on there, as well as Yoko, who we just had on last week, and then Colleen will be on that as well. So
cool.
You guys, she's been on your show before.
Do I know Yoko?
She does Boba Squadron with Kevin from Toying Around. She's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Big fan of hers.
If they
she does a lot of Twitch too.
Send them our way.
She is on the West Coast, so yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know. She also I don't know. You can reach out. Yeah. Yoko's awesome. Hi, Mike.
Cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Cool. So next week we'll be here at 7:30 our regular time, or 7:30 on the West Coast.
3:30 p.m. UK.
Yeah.
10:30 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. We'll see if we get a guest.
Guys.
Your time to try it for me.
Just need someone in Mountain.
I'm going to try really hard to get a guest on for next week. It might be an old favorite, maybe one of our favorite old white guys with beards. But I swear we've been trying since early August.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
dude,
this is a female.
I feel that too. It's hard for me too.
Yeah.
It's not. It sucks because one big thing is like, I mean, it's hard to be a woman geek because it's so gatekept by dudes, and I think being like making content is really hard too, because then you get everyone's criticism. But I think the more you show them, the more other people will come out of the woodworks. And like, not only that, but I think more women feel like they can talk about stuff, because I feel like even some of my friends that are into some of the things I'm into, like they still feel kind of intimidated to talk about a lot of these geeky fandoms, just because that's unfortunately how it is in the world, because it's not just online, it's also a reality in real life. So yeah, sorry, quick side note.
No, you're good, absolutely. I agree 100% with everything you said,
as you should.
And Johnny, you're great too.
Thanks.
Yeah, Johnny's awesome.
Johnny shows up every week in the chat.
I try to be.
Yeah, he's a good ally. We're doing the all women stream without him. He has no choice.
That's okay. I get the week off. I'm fine with that. That's why I was glad to come on and talk about this episode here, because I won't be talking about it on our show.
Yeah, not until the very end.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
So yeah,
thanks again for having us on.
No, thank you for having. No, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We will be back next week at our regular time. As Ralph said, you can find us at all the regular places. Blue Sky. If you're not on Blue Sky yet and want an invite, send me or Ralph a message, and we'll probably be able to hook you up with a code. I've got a bunch. So
it's like nice Twitter.
It's nice Twitter is how we've
and
described it.
There's not a lot of people there.
No, and that's fine. But if you want to be there, you can come. We're inviting you.
I already run so many socials.
I mean, you have to run it.
I don't want to add another one.
We specifically haven't set up like a live action Star Wars one, because it's like it's quite nice just being like people, not like there's not like brands or products and stuff like that. I'm not.
Like I post about the shows there, but it's all.
I talk about it for me, but like yeah.
Okay. I'll think about it.
So yeah, you don't have to run it as like a show thing.
Yeah. I run so many.
Yeah,
it's like a
Ralph is a
secret Heidi hole. Like it's a little club where like there's I follow like 100 people or 200 people, and like 100 people follow me, and they're all nice people I know.
Nice.
You can't even post animated GIFs, which is nice. It's just like it's so stripped down. It's just like I can
it's lovely.
I can post my photos there, and strangers are like, these are great, and I'm like, thank you, stranger. Thank you for not being an asshole. Yeah.
And really nice. You can interact with people because it's so quiet and so small. Like you can interact and talk to people that you might not normally even see a message or something. Which is really cool.
We have an interview coming out the week after Ahsoka is done with Gary Whitta, who we met through Blue Sky. If you feel like sending a question to Neil Gaiman, he's pretty much just talks to anybody. Like he spends his whole time on Blue Sky just answering questions. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, go get some codes. I don't have any codes right now.
I'll look into it.
I do. Send me a message if you want one. Yeah. But no, it's all good. Follow us there if you're on there. If not, you can still follow us on the other places. I'm not very active on there anymore. Still on Instagram though. Yeah. So until next week, everybody, thanks for joining us, and don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
You go
Punch
first,
it.
Johnny. Hit it.